the Neon Confidential podcast.
Is this thing on? Cami Li, welcome to the Neon Confidential podcast.
Hey. Cami Linkowski, okay?
I know. Isn't that funny that like Cami Li, but then you married a Linkowski, so it's the same?
I didn't even notice that until someone mentioned it to me after I got married. They're like, by the way, I was like, oh my gosh.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of things that people don't know about you. I feel like people know you as like the selling real estate to the who's who of Las Vegas. But how did you get to where you are? Because you've been on some reality TV shows. You've been on Celebrity Big Brother. Mm-hmm. You've been on, eventually Say Yes to the Dress, which is your fairy tale ending, which we'll get there. Yeah. But kind of walk people back through who you are.
I'm a pain in the ass, is what everyone would say, at least my husband. Believe it or not, as like cocky as I am, I hate talking about myself. Like, well, I started here.
Well, where did you grow up? Because you're not from the U.S. originally, right?
Well, Puerto Rico is a territory of the United States.
That's right. It's Puerto Rico. I don't know why I thought it was a different country.
No, my parents are Cuban. I was born in Puerto Rico. I was raised in Miami. And then I moved to Vegas 9 years ago.
The first time that I was introduced to you, really, as the publicist, they said to me, this girl's huge in the UK. And because that's one of those things that people say, they're like, oh, I'm huge in like this country. But like you actually were huge in the UK.
For a moment in time.
When the tabloids in the UK found out where you were in Vegas and what you were up to, like it was literally like trying to beat them off with a stick. So
yeah,
why were you big in the UK? Let's start there.
Oh, so do we want like the PR story or you want like the nitty gritty?
Let's do the nitty gritty. You know how we do.
I was engaged to somebody over there who was a big personality and fuck you. But yeah, so it was, I really like, it was one of those things when you were young and you're like, fuck it. I can curse, obviously.
Yeah, of course.
Like, fuck it, I'm going to do it. Like I was almost done with school, but I had like a semester left. I was bartending and at one of like a big nightclub, and I was like, what am I doing? Let me go to live in London. Might as well, I actually met him here in Vegas. Like I flew from Miami to Vegas and he flew from the UK to Vegas. We had like a great time. I will give him that. We had a really good time. And then like it was just literally like a whirlwind, like shitstorm of a romance. And like I think we got engaged. When did I don't even remember when I saw him, but we got engaged, I think like 6 weeks later, something crazy.
Oh my God.
And then I said, fuck it, I'm just going to move. So I moved and
to London.
Yeah.
From Miami.
Yes.
Okay.
And then I think I was there, was it either 6 months or so? I don't even remember how long. Too long. And it didn't work out.
What was that like moving from Miami to the UK?
At first, it was like really fun because it's like a new place where you don't know anyone, so you like making friends. But no, that's not what happened.
Did you have to work while you were over there? Like, can you say tell us this guy's background? You don't have to say his name, but like, what did he do for a living?
He did reality TV, and over there, like reality TV was, and I don't know how, I'm assuming it still is, was like a different like pinnacle. Like over there was like, it's huge. We're here, it's like, okay, it's reality TV, whatever. Over there it's huge. Like if you're on reality TV, like you're a big deal. So he was like a big deal everywhere we went and all that stuff, which was like, whatever, it's fine, I don't care. But
so you went from being a bartender in Miami to being like thrust into this spotlight in London with this guy. I mean, did he prep you for that? Was he like, because clearly when he came here, did you know who he was?
No, so funny story. This is like, I don't even think FaceTime was even out yet. That's how long. This was 2018, I think.
It's like Skype or something.
Yeah, so we Skyped, right? And he was like, right after we Skyped, he went on Twitter. Oh, he found me on Twitter. That's how we met, by the way.
So did you already have your own little like social following?
Yeah, because I was like on magazine covers for tattoos and like, that kind of stuff. So like people knew like people in the tattoo world like knew who I was, but nothing crazy. And he contacted me, whatever. We spoke on Skype and he wrote on Skype later like, oh, had a great chat with whatever, he tagged me. And I was like, that's a little weird, but okay. And like maybe an hour later, it got leaked. A picture of him jerking off Huge dick, by the way. Huge. And a Photoshop picture of me on Skype. And I was like, oh my God, this is not what happened. What is going on? And it just went viral.
So did he leak that? Like what? How?
No, so there was like at the time this account called Celeb something, I forget. And they were like leaking nude photos of famous people, and they were photoshopping like models or whoever onto it, like making it seem like they were doing it. I don't know how they hacked into his shit. I don't even know. But like he was like in his bathroom with his big dick out, smoking a cigarette. And I'm thinking,
who smokes a cigarette while they do that? That's actually wild.
I was just like, oh my God.
So what was that like? Were you like, my world is ending? Were you embarrassed? Or were you like, nope, here we go. Like, I guess I'm going to be in this media circus with him.
Well, no, at first I was like, okay, well, we had just, like I said, had just met. We hadn't even met in person yet.
Oh my God.
So this is like the first time we like spoke. So I was like, what the fuck? So I was like, hey dude, like, do you need to release like a statement? Like, that is not me. You and I both know that did not happen. So we did like a day later or something. And I was like, took you fucking long enough. And then we kept talking and he was very, very charming, like very charming. And I mean, everyone who met him was like, oh my God, he's great. And then there was just like demons that.
It's like a narcissist.
Yeah.
That's how that works.
Yeah.
So you guys dated for 6 weeks, got engaged. And then how did you get thrown into this reality TV circuit? Did you keep living in London after y'all broke up?
No. Okay. So I'm very spiteful. That's what motivates me. Okay, so here's the nitty gritty. Here's the real, I don't think I've spoken about this publicly. Okay, so we broke up and he was off doing something. So I fucked up his house. I left.
Wait, what did you do to his house? I have to know.
So he would not let me leave the house.
What do you mean? Like during the breakup? Like
No.
he didn't want to break up with you, or just like in relationship sense?
Super like controlling, like,
oh my God,
no one can have you, like you have to stay here, you can't leave the house.
Which is another thing narcissists do. They like isolate you from your friends and family, which is probably so much easier to do when you don't have any friends and family.
Well, at first he'd be like, oh, I'd be on Wi-Fi and I'd be like, I've talked to my mom all the time and we would be FaceTiming and he's like, that costs money. It's like international. I go, motherfucker, it's on Wi-Fi. Like, I ain't fucking dumb. You know, it's so like that kind of stuff. And then we had a wedding date. We had a venue. We had like everything planned out. And one day he had to go to the hospital for something, which it's not my business to tell. And I was just like, I got to get out of here. A family member came to the house of his that I had never met, that he didn't want me to meet. And I was like talking to my mom, like, I need to get out of here. And the family member came in and I was like, oh shit, hi. And they said to my mom, listen, your daughter's a prisoner. You need to get her out of here.
One of his family members?
Yeah.
And you guys had only been dating for 6 weeks?
No, this is at the end. So like this was like 6 months. We've been
okay, you got engaged 6 weeks into it. You're at the 6 month mark of the relationship, and this is what's going on. Oh my God.
So I was like, fuck, I gotta go back to Miami with my tail between my legs. I had literally nothing. Like I had given up my place. I had no money in the bank because he didn't let me work or anything, and I would have to ask him for stuff. So I didn't have any money in the bank. I didn't have my car anymore. I didn't have anything. So I was like, this fucking sucks. So I said, you know what? Fuck you. I went throughout the house. He had 2 bulldogs, super nice. I loved them. Sorry, guys. And I didn't let him out. I left him in the house. I took a bat to the mirrors. And then I cut his clothes in spots where if he put them on is when he could see that they were cut. So nobody knows this. So I guess this is like out there. I guess we're going full on. So yeah, I cut his clothes.
So you literally left with a bang. You were like, oh, I'm not.
The girl who did my lashes, who had to come to my house to do the lashes, I called her. I was like, please, can you take me to the airport? Like, please. Like, my dad had to get me a ticket because I had no fucking money. I got there, my mom had deposited money in my account and my bags were like too heavy to bring home, and I'm like crying to the lady. I'm like, please, I have no money, I have to get home. And she was like, okay.
Did she have any idea about what was going on?
No. I mean, who?
Your lash lady that had to take you to the airport.
Yeah, she even told me. She was like my age and I'm still friends with her. She was like, actually took her to MGV when she was here.
Oh, nice.
She was like, Cami, like, this isn't normal the way that he is. And I'm like, I know, like, I know I'm amazing, but the world has to see it. You know, I can't just be about myself.
So he was in the public eye though. So did that make it harder because was that like something looming over your head where you're like, if I leave him, it's going to be all over the news?
Oh, it was everywhere. Yeah.
And then what happened? Like, what were the headlines? What did he say? Did he have to make a statement? Did you have to make a statement?
He kept to himself, really, I think. I don't even remember how and what happened. I was just heartbroken because, about him. It was more so like, fuck, I failed. And I do not fail.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it felt. Like, I failed. I look like an idiot. People said, be careful. Do you know what you're doing? That kind of thing. So then when it happened, I was just like,
it was like more admitting to other people and yourself that something didn't work out. Honestly, that's what keeps people in relationships for a long time in general, I think. Like whether you're a perfectionist or not, I think just people hold on too long because they don't want to say that.
I think I would have left. Mm-hmm. But I think on my own terms more so. Like it wasn't his terms, but I feel like that was my only out to go, But at the same time, it was like, fuck, I have to go because I have no money. What am I going to do? So I just said, I have to go.
So you went back to your life in Miami.
Back to my life in Miami.
Did y'all have any contact?
No. He contacted me. He contacted me a couple of times through like friends. And then like one night he wanted to talk and I said, okay. And I actually fell asleep. And he kept calling me and I was asleep. And I was like, this is a fucking sign from God.
Like, because he like would not stop calling you kind of situation?
Well, yeah, that night, like I was like, this is a sign. Like I fucking knocked out. Like didn't speak to him. So I was like, okay, this is a sign. Like I can't do this. And then he got with like other girls and got him pregnant and all this stuff. And his life went to shit after I left.
Wow. And that's always kind of fun.
Yeah, it was great, actually.
So you're back in Miami. And then how did you wind up back in the reality TV show circuit after that?
So again, I have to reiterate, I'm very spiteful. So he was on Celebrity Big Brother himself. And I guess it was like the pinnacle or one of the biggest parts. Because being on Celebrity Big Brother at the time was a big deal.
Before or after y'all's relationship was healing?
Before.
Okay.
So being on that show is like a big deal.
Yep.
When you're on there, like it's like you're thrusted into limelight, whatever. So while I was in the UK, I was still wanting to do my modeling and stuff like that. But I had met an agent over there. Shout out to Joel, who I still speak to. And I said to him, hey, I want to get on Celebrity Big Brother. And he's like, Cami, no offense, but you ain't shit. And I'm like, no. Like, you need to get me an interview and I'll do the rest. Just get me an interview.
So you had to have known they were going to eat that up, right? Like, was y'all's breakup in headlines?
Yeah, but
totally.
Yeah, but still, like, I wasn't relevant enough over there. They don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, apparently he'd had like a bunch of failed relationships and shit like that and whatever. But I was like, get me an interview. And he's like, hey. So he like pushes. And he's like a newer agent as well. So he didn't really have the connections. So he was hungry, obviously, to try to see what he can get. And he's like, he's like, they said, like, if you can make it to the UK, they'll interview you. And I'm like, of course they will. I'm not going to just go. So I started dating someone, a football player, soccer player that played in the UK. And
how did that happen? Also, like social media?
Contacted me and we just like would talk all the time and all this stuff. And then, obviously I'm spiteful. And he's like, where do you want to go? Where's the one place you want to go? And I was like, I really want to go to Egypt. Like, that is like my number one place I want to go to. And he goes, all right, let's book it. And I was like, okay.
I love that.
So he's like, oh, there's a layover in London. And I was like, okay. So I called my manager. I'm going to London. Get me the fucking meeting.
So did the guy you were dating, did he know what you were up to? Like,
no.
Okay.
So he's like, okay, let's do it. So I go to London. And I'm like, okay, I was so nervous. I was like, fuck. They met me like, I had like 3 shots of Jack right before I walked in because I was so nervous. And they were like, they bring like, probably the lady that fucking scrubbed the toilets. They brought her down and they're like, hi, Cami. I'm like, hi. like, tell us why you think you should, and I was like, well, I just wanted to like my spiel, like, and they're like, hold on a second, can you get blah, blah, blah down here? And they come down and I just start talking to them and they're like, where did you come from? And I'm like, don't you?
So wait, what was the hook that you said that she called more executives? What did you say?
I can't even, I think I just was like, I blacked out. I think I said like, she's like, well, I go, well, you've never met anybody like me. I said something and I don't know, like the shit that comes out of my mouth sometimes.
They were like, this girl is a personality. She's going to be great. Like they just needed to see it in person.
Yeah. So we did that and they were like, oh my gosh. And so I was like, okay, I got this, So then they're like, okay, we're going to contact you. So then I went to Egypt. It was fun, whatever. Came home. And then there's at the time, there was 2 celebrity Big Brothers. There was one like in the summer and one in the new year. And I was trying to get to the summer one. So they were like, oh, no, we kind of have everyone we want, but let's see the new year. And I was like, fuck. So I was like, shit, I was like, remind them how great I am, So then they contacted me for the one in the new year. And then that's when I went out there and fucking smashed it.
Describe what that's like. You're in a house. There are cameras all over the place. You're in a house with a bunch of people that you don't know. And
I was with Perez.
You were with Perez on that show. And in the UK?
Yeah.
Why was Perez in the UK?
Because he was, he's a celebrity blogger. Everybody knew Perez Hilton was.
Okay. He just had like international reach. Mm-hmm. And so that, because I know this background, you two did not like each other, right?
No.
But now you do.
Yeah. Now we're good. It's just at the time, I was so excited to meet him. And they say like never meet your heroes or your idols, whatever. I was like, fuck this guy. But now we're fine and we get along great.
So how long were you in the house for?
28 days. So it was 30 days or 31 days. And I was in the house for 28 days.
And what was your experience like? Like, would you do it again?
I mean, I don't know. It was really weird. Like it feels like another lifetime. Like it was just so surreal. Like the whole thing, there's no like being like secretive with anyone. Like literally in the bath, like in the toilet, there's like a fucking microphone.
There's cameras everywhere.
Yeah, I didn't go to the bathroom for 28 days. Did you? I just peed and that was it. Like I was
no carbs. No. Did you get used to it? Did you ever get used to the cameras?
You do, because like they're just around the house. The only time is like you would see them behind the mirror. Sometimes you would see them like moving around, which was like kind of creepy. Or like they would lock you in a room because they were doing stuff outside, like setting up. And like we had like maybe 4 tasks the whole like series because there was so much drama. They were like, we don't even need to do it.
Isn't it basically kind of live? Like the show is airing while you guys are living in the house. It's not live, but it's like the production turnaround time's like a day or something.
Yeah, so it's not like the US. I haven't watched I tried to watch the US, but I guess the US is different. I think it's like a week or something. I don't know. But yeah, so they show what happened the prior 12 to 24 hours. So it's pretty like
timely.
Yeah.
So what was your like role? Like who did you become in the house? Were you like the villain or you were the villain?
I was an asshole, yeah. I would like get into it with people. But I was like nice too to like people who I liked, but if you were like a dick to me, like I don't care who the fuck you were or how like famous you were, like
who else was in the house?
Katie Price.
Oh, right.
We shared a bed together.
She was a huge deal.
She's like the Kim Kardashian
of the UK.
Yeah,
that's right.
So we stayed in the bed together. She won. And then there's like this old man. I forget his name, but he said something to the old ladies, and not older women, that they showed it too. He's like, I see her and I want to jerk off or something. He said something about me, and they were like, ew, what the hell?
They're probably like, not this again.
I was like, really, dude? But he's like old man. It was gross. Callum Best was in there.
And how many people total?
I think there was 12 of us.
And then it's like an eviction process, right?
Yeah.
So like when did you get evicted in the process?
So a lot of people walked because they couldn't take
Oh, you can do that. Like you're like actually
get paid.
Right. Okay.
So there was a surprise eviction, which like we had no idea, which I was like, please not.
Wait, it was you?
Mm-hmm.
You're like, no one's expecting it.
No. So it's like all of a sudden they're like, who do you want to evict? You have an hour to vote instead of like 24 hours. They do usually. It was like an hour like speed.
Who's voting for everyone?
The
it's
public.
the public.
Yeah.
Right.
So I had like apparently I had a bunch of like complaints too, like to the network, Ofcom, I think they're called, the network, whatever, fuck off.
Wait, what kind of complaint?
Like, cause I was just an asshole.
Like just to like the other cast members, not to like the crew or anything.
You never saw the crew.
Okay.
You never saw, it was like a social experiment. You just saw the people you were living with.
Okay.
You never saw the crew.
Wow. What was like what was one memory that you have from that's like a core memory?
I guess like going in, I was like super nervous because it's like you don't know what to expect, and a lot of the people like they had watched like the show. I think I'd like seen it a couple episodes, but I didn't know what to expect. So like I was like genuinely like myself, whereas people were like not. Some people like they knew what they were getting into. They've done this before.
It's like a game.
Yeah,
like they're probably building strategies to like mask.
It doesn't matter though, because we got paid regardless whether we made it to the end or not. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, you make more money, obviously, the longer you stay in because the more publicity you get at the end.
Right. So what was that like after you got evicted? Then like, was it just a publicity train that you were just riding the whole way, or what was that like? Did you have to stay in London?
Yeah, I stayed in London, and then I stayed like a month because Brent came, and at the time he had just started dating. Like, I was like, oh my God, because I had to pretend I was single for the show. Like, I was like, oh, I'm not dating anyone, and they're like, okay. So I was like, oh God. And Callum was in there, so I would like flirt with Callum. I mean, he's a good looking guy, but I would flirt with Callum and just like have fun. And I was like, oh my God, what if like Brent sees this and he's not gonna like me? And so like I remember my manager like handing me my phone, and I'm like, what is this? He's like, this is your phone. I'm like, oh.
Like, because you guys could not have your phones. Oh my God.
We would like recite our phones to like our numbers to ourselves because I was like, it was such a like mind fuck.
That's wild. And then how much longer did you live in the UK after the show?
I stayed like 30 days after, doing like public appearances, going to nightclubs, all that. So, I mean, it was good. I made money after. It was really good. I would probably, I don't know if I'd do it again, because if I was away from the girls for that long, I don't know if I'd do it again.
Well, yeah, because now you've got like a husband and a family. So that Brent is your husband.
Yes.
And so how did you two meet each other?
In Vegas. I had just broken up with the football player. And then, oh my God, he followed me to Vegas, tried to fight this guy that I saw here. Oh, it was so
Wait,
bad.
who followed you to Vegas?
The football player from the UK.
Oh my God.
I mean, I get it. It's that guy.
Yeah, I know. It's like, you're a hot commodity. So you meet Brent in Vegas.
Yeah, like.
And then you had to tell him you're going on the show.
Well, yeah, so we met in June.
Okay.
He like pursued me till like September. I finally was like, okay, I'll give it. And then October. And then the end of October is when I got the call that I was going on the show. So we had just started dating.
And so when you got off of the show, did y'all start dating right after, or how did that work?
He came to London 2 days later, and we stayed together the whole time.
And then inseparable since then.
Yeah, so we did the long distance dating because then I had to go do X on the Beach, which was another fucking shit show.
Yeah, what was the time span between the two shows?
So I did, and that's another thing. I had to pretend that we weren't together because I had to meet the MTV execs in London. So I was like, oh, he's just a guy I'm fucking. It's fine. Like, okay. Maybe it can't be.
Oh, amazing. And so what happened on X on the Beach?
So my ex was there, and I was contracted to be there for 10 days. Like, they were like, listen, we just want you to go in for 10 days, fuck shit up, and then leave. And I was like, it's totally fine.
So they set that up. Like, they knew that you weren't going to be there the whole time.
Yeah, they knew I wasn't going to be there the whole time. And I was like, I'm not staying here the whole time. Like, no. And so he was already there for, I think, 2-3 weeks. And he was, giving his, oh, I'm so great. And everybody thought he was so charming and all that stuff. But when I showed up, it was like, it wasn't good.
This is the ex-football player, or this is the ex that you like moved out of his house and like
out? Yeah.
What was that like seeing him again?
My heart was like beating out of my chest. Like, it was like, I didn't think I'd see him again. I was like, oh my God. I knew that's why I was there. I knew that I was there, but it was just. And then I fought with the whole house that night. I mean, I was ready to fight everyone. Like, I haven't even watched it, but like, I was like ready to fight everyone. Like, all the girls came at me. I fucking was ready to fight them. All the guys, I was ready to fight. They had to have me sleep at a hotel that night because I was like, I'll fuck all of you up. Let's go.
So did the truth ever come out about him and y'all's relationship, or people just had their own view because of what he said, which I'm sure wasn't the truth?
It wasn't the truth, but his true colors came out one night and he had to leave early. They didn't show it on TV because it was that bad.
Well, like what was so bad about it?
It was bad. It's not my place to say, but he was threatening to do some stuff and it was bad.
So he got kicked off the show as a result.
Yeah.
Wow. So now, when do you get thrust back into normalcy? Like at all? Like you did, so you do 2 reality shows back to back. One's in UK, one's here. That show was shot here, right?
It was shot in Mexico, but it was the UK version.
Okay, got it. So did you keep living in London, or when did you finally come back to Vegas?
So we were together. So I did the show. I went back to Miami, and then I came back and forth. I was coming back and forth to Vegas, Miami, because I was still finishing school. And then I moved down out here when I was, probably 2015. Yeah, like 2015, end of 2015.
And were you and Brent dating, or were you?
Yeah, we lived together. I moved in with him.
In Vegas?
In Vegas.
Okay. So he convinced you to come move out here.
Yeah.
Essentially. Talk about that a little bit, because I think it's no secret that dating in Las Vegas is very difficult.
With a fucking unicorn. He's from Minnesota, so.
But still, like it'll give hope to some of the girls who are listening, because everyone's from somewhere else. It's very difficult to meet, like, born and raised Las Vegan. So what was that like for you? Were you like, you said y'all were friends first?
Yeah.
Walk us through how you got to where you were.
So it's funny because like I've always been like, I still am type A, like very jealous. I'm a Latina, like hot blood. Like I'm Cuban and I'm Puerto Rican. Like hurricanes are named after us. Like we're fucking nuts. Like you look at Brett or I'm like, bitch, you want to fight? Like, so it was at first I would, because, and the thing is too, like in my past, like the guys I've dated in my past, because they feel like, oh, that I don't care. They like to get it out of me. So they'll do things on purpose to make me jealous, to see that I care.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So, but he never did that.
Very immature.
Yeah.
Right.
But he never did that. He was just, so like when little things would happen, I'd be like, I'm like, wait a minute. No.
He like was not about drama, games, nothing.
Yeah. He didn't want to get reactions out of me. He didn't want to see how I felt about him. Like he just knew, like he was confident in himself, confident that he knew that what he had. Whereas me, I was like, immature, I guess, or insecure at times, because I was like, how is this so normal?
Right.
How is this like a normal relationship?
I feel like in life, you really need to, A, love what you do for a living, which we'll get into that with you. And then B, you've got to have a good teammate. So like, how important is that for you guys?
Well, he's definitely the calmer one of us. I'm like, even when I'm like about to like blow off the handle, he's like, listen, like he definitely is like the voice of reason.
He's like the yin to your yang.
Yes.
Yeah.
100%. He calms me. If I'm going to freak out, he's like, okay, are you done? Whereas like I've learned being with people who are type A, who are like me, who like the limelight, or who, you're kind of competing against each other in the sense of who has the bigger personality.
Yeah.
Or who has what, so yeah, he's definitely like, you do you. I'm just right here, and I'm here when you need me.
I get that vibe from you guys. Like every time I run into you both, I feel like he's just so calm, and you guys are both really career focused. And so how do you make time for each other? Like how often do you guys see each other? What's your schedule like?
Well, he has his own office, like he runs like a branch, but like he does mortgages. He's like one of the top lenders, but he stays home, and but he works from home a lot. He has like a home office where I'm constantly like in and out of the house. We have 2 daughters, the nannies are there, so he's there as well. But it's really nice because it's at night we do make time for each other to like, let's watch this show or let's watch this movie. So we try to like definitely make time for each other and talk about my day, or I bitch about my day, and he just listens. Like honestly, I'll call him and I'll be like, you're not gonna believe this shit. And he's like, calm down, like it's okay.
And how often do y'all do date night?
Well, now that we have like a stable nanny that stays at night, we go out like pretty frequently, like maybe every other weekend, or we try to go out frequently. Yeah.
Because that's the last time I saw you was at Perez's birthday,
Yeah.
which is hilarious because it's so full circle to what we're talking about right now. But I feel like we were all in this little corner, like chatting to each other. And it was almost like we did it, we made it, we came out. And I think we were like all the first ones to leave. But I felt good about that.
And I'm fine with a 5 o'clock dinner and home by 9.
That's exactly how I am. You post a lot of what you do for a living, which is now real estate, on your Instagram stories. And you're a hustler. Like, where do you think that work ethic comes from?
My mom and my dad too, which whatever. But my mom, because like she was a single mom, like raising me, and she had like 3 jobs, and she was like always made sure we had what we needed. Like I rode horses my whole life. Everything was provided for. Like I did rodeos and a barrel racing.
Did you?
Yeah.
So did I. Was this where in Miami?
Yeah.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
I went pro at 13.
Stop.
Yeah. So she always like provided.
And so that's where you get that from.
Yeah.
And how did you get into real estate? If Brent was already doing mortgage lending, is that how that happened?
Because I was like, what am I going to do? Because I still got like opportunities to do reality TV, but they were kind of like, well, we kind of need you to be single. And I'm like, I can't. I'm not doing this. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
I can't do this.
You're like hanging up your reality TV show hat.
Yeah. Unless it's like something cool, like I would totally do it. Like I would, but I just can't. I can't continue being like this single girl, So I told Brent, I said, what about real estate? He's like, no, you want to do real estate? I'm like, yeah, let me try it. Why not? I mean, I got my master's in non-communication, which is a fucking waste. And so I got into it, and I was like, all right. I didn't know like Henderson to Summerlin. I didn't know shit. Like you would ask me, like, don't know. Yeah, cool. I don't know. So I was at a Super Bowl party with one of our friends, with Brent, and she's like, how you been? And I was like, oh, good. I got my real estate license. And she's like, oh, well, Steve wants to sell his bachelor pad. Do you want to sell it? And I was like, fuck yeah. And it just like,
that was it.
Yeah, because then she bought like 4 properties for me. She just referred me the other day a $4.5 million like buyer. Like
I feel like in real estate, I mean, it's like a lot of, but what you're saying, communications type businesses, where a lot of that, your book of business is your network of people. Like it's all word of mouth. You can like have a website and whatever to support, but really it's like if you're good at what you do and you're a hustler, people are going to tell other people.
And who you surround yourself with.
Right.
The sphere of influence.
So now you know a ton about Vegas.
I do.
Wait, how long have you been in real estate?
6 years.
Okay. What's like the biggest house that you've sold?
Recently, I just sold for $8.8 million.
That's insane.
It was 2 weeks ago.
Speaking of like, it's who you know and who you hang around with, I feel like have become known as like you sell to a lot of people who are in sports teams here in Vegas. And what's interesting about that is Vegas didn't have sports teams 5 years ago. So how did you get into that? Because you're selling to these athletes who clearly have multi-million-dollar budgets and homes.
Well, I saw that the Raiders were coming, and I thought nobody has tapped into this because the Knights were already here. So when I got my license, I was like, nobody's tapped into this. Like, I'm going to jump it. And I like just DM'd them, all of them. I don't give a fuck. Like, I don't want to fuck you. I just want to sell you a house, Like, I'm giving you my number because you're going to be my client, not because I want to fuck.
It probably makes better that you have that giant rock on your finger, too.
They don't care. No.
So you're selling these homes to these athletes.
Yeah.
And it's mostly the Raiders.
Yeah.
Okay. Name drop some celebrities that you've sold homes to.
I can't.
You can't?
No.
Is that like a...
Sign NDAs and all that.
do.
But there are some big ones for sure.
When you're posting on your Instagram stories, you're not saying like who bought the home. You're just saying like this is how much the home sold for.
Yeah, so I'll do that, and then I ask them like, hey, are you okay with taking a photo for social media? And they say yeah, then that's fine. If they don't, I mean, no one has said no to me, but I kind of feel it out, like if but I won't say like what home they bought or like how much it sold for or anything like that, because it's a little weird to tacky.
Yeah. I feel like sometimes that makes up the headlines anyway, because it's public record.
It would, yeah. It came out last week with the 8.8.
Yeah.
And it wasn't me. It was somebody else who talked about it.
So I want to talk more about real estate because I feel like there's so much information that it could be really overwhelming. And a lot of the people who listen to this podcast, I'd say the age bracket's like between 25 and 35. What advice would you give somebody on like first time home buying? Like, is now a good time to buy? All of that.
Well, rates suck. Everybody knows that. And I don't think they're going to be going down anytime soon. So, and I'm not going to tell people to date the rate and marry like the house. Like, that's fucking stupid. What I say is if you can afford this house and you love this house, then do it.
Yeah, I think that's really good advice because either way, you're going to be waiting on interest rates but there's so much involved and it's very confusing, like with like escrow and all that.
Well, it depends how much you put down, so I mean, and how much debt you have and how much cash you have. Where's the cash coming from? There's so many factors, and which I leave that to Brent when it comes to financing, and he can definitely explain that better.
I feel like after COVID, correct me if I'm wrong, because I bought my house in like 2017 or something. After COVID, the house prices went way up in Las Vegas. What do you see? Why do you think that happened?
Interest rates. They were way down. They went like to 2% because we refied and it was like at 2% or 2 something. And people were watching HGTV thinking, oh my God, like I want to, like breed butterflies and buy a $3 million home.
Isn't that so weird? Their jobs are always so whack. They're like, let's follow this couple around that and I'm like, what? How are they affording this? It's great.
Dildos. I just meditate and here we are.
Yeah. So what's the advice that you have? Like if somebody wants to be a home buyer, they want to be a first-time homeowner, how would they go about getting that loan from the bank? Is there advice that like you need to have this amount of money saved up?
Be realistic with what you want. Be real. If it's a starter home, that's great. Guess what? Buy that home, even if it's a condo or a townhome. No one can take something away from you that is yours. And it's better to do that than to pay somebody else's mortgage paying rent. So if you can find a lender, which call Brent, and he can give you the different scenarios as to how to obtain the home, I think then that's your best way. And he'll tell you like, listen, this is way out of your budget. You don't want to do this, or okay, this is good. But Vegas is only growing. So if you can buy a home, you're going to have equity regardless. And if you're looking for a home long-term, who cares if prices go down? They're going to go back up.
Right.
So if you're looking for like an investment, that's different, because usually people who want investment, they're paying all cash.
Right.
Because it wanted to finance, you have to put more down. But people like first-time home buyers, like buy that condo if you can, or the townhome. Don't think like I have to buy the biggest house and I have to be house poor.
Right.
It's just, it's going to go.
What do you think because there's some people that are like, if depending on like what investment book you're reading, some people are like, you should just rent. Like, what do you think
That's stupid.
Right. I do too. What do you think the advantages of like owning equity are?
Well, I mean, you have first of all, it's an asset. It's yours. You're not paying someone else's mortgage. Like someone's, oh yeah, and then they can raise the mortgage the next year. And then you keep like, oh shit, where am I going to live? Well, now I'm going to live in this shit box when I could have had all this money and put it into a home and make it my own. And I could have rented it out and then had myself another home, So it's just, I can't even explain it.
No,
it's
that was
definitely like a snowball.
That was explaining it. That's exactly what I think. Like the cost of living in Las Vegas, we've seen it. Like this city was sort of like a startup. You know what I mean? There was like no sports teams here. The houses were so cheap. I bought my house for like $250. It's now worth like, almost $600. Yeah. And so it's the same with your rental rates. Like those are just going to go up. So
people always need a place to live. That's what I tell people. People always need a place to live. Like when we bought our house, like during COVID, we could have sold it for double. And friends like, let's do it. I'm like, where are we going to go? Because what we're doing, everyone else is doing. Like, I love our house too.
So to get somebody to a place where if you know that there's an importance to owning equity, then you would say would you tell people to like save a certain amount of money before they go to a lender? You're saying, you have to be reasonable about what you're looking for, find a good lender, find a good real estate agent, which then I guess brings me to this. How do people find a good real estate agent? There's a ton, of course, but there's a ton of real estate agents out there. How do you know?
Set in hell. I know.
How do you know who's good versus who isn't? Like, what kind of things can you look out for?
Well, obviously, one of my first things I always tell people is like, post on your social media. If people say, oh no, I don't give a fuck. I don't care about the other agents. Like, you don't like my shit, then don't follow me. I'm not trying to impress you anyways. I've gotten so many clients via social media. It's like crazy.
You're saying just from you posting your listings, like reels, stories, all of that.
Well, no, don't dance. Please don't dance. Okay. We're not trying to dance and show our dance moves to sell a house. Like, let's keep it a little bit professional.
No, I get that. And honestly, like I almost purchased another house from someone's Instagram stories, a real estate agent that I follow. I'm so like that. Yes.
We can end this interview right now.
But she posted this house and I was like, oh my God, that house is so sick. I like actually went and saw it in person and it like was not sick.
Yeah.
Which can happen. But that makes sense. You're like, showcasing like, this is what I do for a living, and you're able to reach so many different audiences with social media. So you do that also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the best way. And, you know, to read their reviews, look, like find them online, see their online presence. What do they do? You know, because people could fake it till you make it. And that's great. I'm cool with that. But like, this is like a consumer's like their biggest decision and purchase of their life. So like, if you're going to fake it till you make it, you better fucking fake it right. Because if you fuck up, they're just going to have a horrible taste in their mouth about real estate agents, which a lot of consumers already do. Because like I said, the bar is set in hell. Anybody can get the fucking real estate license. And they're like, I'm top producer. It's like, how, bitch? I see you sell one thing.
Has anyone ever purchased a home and then like wanted to return it? What's that even like? You can't really do that.
There's no 30-day return.
Right?
No, I mean, I know no one's, knock on wood, I don't want to do that with me, but I mean, I'm sure it's happened.
But that's the point of being a good agent, is you make sure that they love the shit out of that house before they purchase it.
Yeah. Exactly.
Right.
Like there's stuff like I'll point out, like some people will be like, oh, I love it. Like one of my guys, we were looking at houses a couple weeks ago, and he's like, I love it. You know, we're in the backyard, and I go, I want to show you something, and this is just something I want to point out. We'll go to the backyard. He goes, what? See all these houses right here? They're looking down into your backyard. You have no privacy. He's like, oh shit, I didn't even realize that. That would have sucked. I would have hated it. Exactly. Like these are things that they don't see. They just like, that's why you're their agent, because you're here to guide them. And I'm not here to tell you what to do, but I'm here to point these things out to you. Like, look, like these people aren't going to give you privacy, especially when they find out who you are. They're going to want to see everything you're doing.
That's actually a really good point. So you would rather like point those things out and like
kill
make
the sale.
than make the sale. So back to you saying that like you're top producer in real estate. If somebody is listening and they want to get their real estate license,
Don't do it. Please just stop. We have too many.
that is like, do you know the per capita of like real estate agents in Las Vegas versus other cities? I feel like
It's like 18,000 or some crazy amount. I'm like, where? And they're like, oh yeah, my cousin is a real estate agent. I'm like, how many? No. I'm like, what? Say it again.
So you can just like have your license and then just be a real estate agent. You don't really even have to make sales or anything.
Yeah, and which sucks, you know, because everybody like, oh, well, I just spoke to my friend and they're an agent and they're going to help me. Nobody tells me that. I've never been like my friend, you know, but I've heard stories. And I'm just like, oh, that's unfortunate.
So how did you get to the top of where you're at right now?
I'm relentless.
Right. No, you're a hustler. Like I said, on your Instagram stories, I'm like always looking, and I can like see what you're doing and the listings you're posting and everything.
Yeah.
So
just like relentless, like my neighborhoods, the surrounding neighborhoods, I get like mailers sent out. I'm super type A, like doesn't matter how busy I am. I have 2 assistants. Like, yeah, they'll come with me to like showings and stuff, but like you deal with me only like paperwork wise, you'll deal with one of my assistants, but I'm always at the showings. I'm always showing the houses. Like,
that's really smart. Is that normal for real estate agents to have assistants? That's really smart.
well, they have like showing agents, but then guess what? It sucks because like if I'm not there, right, and my showing agent is showing you a house, but we have this rapport where like I tell you how I feel about some things and you tell me, like if I have my assistant and I'm not there, they're just going to be like, okay, thanks.
Right. No, people want to see you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the same with my business where it's
I'm sure, yeah.
I've got a team of people, but the reason why I need that team of people to be doing all of that work is so that I can show up and show face and give people a rundown of like what's going on.
Yes.
Okay, so let's go back to, because you said you were done with the reality TV show, but you did a great one, which is Say Yes to the Dress.
Yes, and Say Yes to the Nest.
And Say Yes to the Nest, which is a different show.
Yeah, so Say Yes to the Dress, and then they loved us, and they did Say Yes to the Nest for HGTV.
So they flew here to Vegas.
No, they flew me to
Okay.
New York.
And where did you find the dress at?
At Kleinfeld.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what year was that?
2000.
Because you really
I got married 2018. So it was 2017 I went over there.
Okay. Because you really got to time that right. Did they seek you out? Or were
Yeah,
you
they
like...
seeked me out. They saw, because my engagement was in the tabloids. And they're like, hey, we saw you got engaged. Have you ever heard of Kleinfeld? I'm like, never watched the show. And they're like, oh, do you want to come out? And blah, blah. So it's like, sure. So we went out there and it was fun.
Do people recognize you when you're out?
Yes. Still.
And what does that do? Like, what happens? Are you like...
Are you the girl with the black dress? I still get like DMs like, I'm watching your show in Brazil. Or, you know, because it went out on the UK and then like
I forgot you had a black dress. What was the reasoning behind that?
to match my soul.
That's,
Yeah.
I feel like I knew you were going to say that. So what do you do when people, do they want a photo with you? Like what happened?
So I was traveling a lot before COVID. I was traveling to Miami like every 6 weeks. So, and Brett would come with me sometimes. And we would go to the candy store. I'm like a candy addict. Like at night.
Interesting.
I stopped eating at like 3 o'clock, but I'll chew gum at like 6 o'clock and chew airheads and I spit them out. Yeah, I'll just chew them and then I spit them out.
Wait, what's your favorite candy store in Vegas?
No, it's in the fucking airport, that eye candy or whatever the fuck it's called.
Okay.
Because they have like these I love sour candy. They have like these sour tennis balls. So I would go in there and I would buy it. Nowhere else has it in Vegas. And there's actually one, that sugar and whatever on Fashion Mall. I think it's gone now. But so the lady would always like, oh my God, hi. And she, okay, hi. And now then the second time I went with Brett's like, oh my God, hi, can I get your autograph and a picture? Brent's like, are you fucking kidding? I'm like, yes, you can.
At the candy shop.
Yeah.
So let's go back to some of your like beauty secrets. So you stop eating at 3.
Yeah, I eat when my daughters eat, and then
What time do you start eating in the morning? Like when's your breakfast?
6:30.
6:30 in the morning, and you stop at 3. I feel like that's not so bad if your breakfast is that early.
Yeah.
And honestly, I've been thinking about this. It gives your body a break from digestion. It's really not that crazy to like skip dinner or have like a really early dinner. So what other kind of like hacks do you have?
Well, I chew candy and I spit it out. I don't swallow it. I do swallow, but not candy. And then, that's it. I drink water. I love Pepsi, but I don't have it at the house. So if we go to a restaurant and they have Pepsi, I'll get Pepsi.
What's like skincare? What's your beauty routine?
Botox at Flawless. I always
Thank you for being open about that.
Oh my God, I love Botox. And anyone who says they don't do Botox is a fucking liar or they're a broke bitch.
Nor have you seen the there's like a reel that's going around that this girl's like, this guy was complimenting me and he's like, you look so natural, and she's like, bitch, my jawline cost me $10,000, and she's like, why do I keep getting that? Or people that say to her, you don't need it, and she's like, the reason I don't need it is because I get it.
Yeah.
So Botox is like, do you do like facials?
I do the Scarlet microneedling, radio frequency. I do that like every month. I do it again at Flawless. I do
Where's Flawless?
it's off of Lake Mead.
Okay.
West side.
Okay.
And then I got the other day, which I got a video and I haven't posted it. Like it's called MediLift, and it looks like a total dominatrix, and it's like radio frequency, and it works out like your jaw and your jowls. Mm-hmm. And it's like only 10 minutes a day, but it literally looks like some sort of like.
Wait, did you buy it?
I bought it. Yeah, it's like $500 online.
Okay.
I'll send you the link.
Okay.
And it's great, but I walked.
So you work out your jaw.
Yeah, it worked. No, it sends like radio frequency pulses, and there's different intensities to like your jowls and like your jaw.
Do you notice a difference?
Yes.
Okay. You have to send me the link.
I am good to send it.
Okay. So what about productivity hacks?
Well, I go to Pilates. Mm-hmm. I do M-Sculpt too. Mm-hmm. Fucking lie, I do that.
Okay.
Might as well if I'm already over there.
M-Sculpt is what?
It's like a machine. I do it on my abs, so you can do your abs, your butt, or your arms. Mm-hmm. And it does like 20,000 sit-ups.
Okay. Yeah, I've seen that
30
before.
minutes. And it does work. Mm-hmm. I mean, but you also have to do it with, eating well. And I don't eat meat.
Okay.
Eating well and working out.
So what does a typical day look like? I want you to get granular with like your breakfast. If you don't eat meat and you stop eating at 3, what do you normally eat?
So in the morning, I will eat eggs.
Okay.
I eat eggs.
All right.
So I'll eat eggs. I'll either do like a hard-boiled egg, or I'll make like a breakfast burrito, whatever. Then I'll have some veggies. I mean, not veggies, fruit. And then or I'll have some pasta in the morning. I do not like breakfast food.
Okay.
I love
Interesting.
pasta and stuff.
Yeah.
So I figure, okay, if I eat in the morning, I could just work it off. So I'll do that. Then I'll come home after I work out. I'll have maybe like a hard-boiled egg, then drink a bunch of water, have a Celsius.
But you drink alcohol.
I do.
Okay.
I drink it like Fridays and Saturdays. Sometimes during the week I'll have like a glass of wine. Mm-hmm. But I try to like not, so.
But I mean, it's working. Wait, have you always not eaten meat, or did you recently give that up?
So I did eat meat for like 5 years, and then I started eating meat when I was pregnant because the doctor was like, you need to have like more protein. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I don't eat tofu or any of that. Like I eat like fish. I do eat fish. I just don't eat meat. And he's like, and you can't have too much, fish because of the mercury.
So you're pescatarian?
Yes.
Okay.
So then I ate meat during my pregnancy, like chicken more so, not red meat. And then after I ate a little bit of and I get grossed out by it. So like maybe once in a blue moon, I'll have like a piece of chicken, but like if there's nothing, because I don't like one place and be like, hi guys, I'm on a special diet.
Yeah. So it's not like it gives you an allergy or something. You would just prefer not to because it like grosses you out. Mm-hmm. Got it. And then, so talk about, that's the beauty and wellness side. Talk about productivity hacks. Like, how do you keep your schedule the way that it is? You're balancing like kids at home, a marriage, and also selling all these homes and then running a team of assistants, it sounds like.
So I have like different calendars, so I have like my husband, our family calendar, the nanny calendar, the assistant calendar, the photographer calendar, and my personal calendar, but it's all on, Apple calendars. So
they're like color coded or what? Okay.
Color coded. But it also, believe it or not, like people are like, oh, you don't have a CRM? I'm like, I don't have a CRM. I just like, something happens, I put in my calendar, call this person or contact this person, or it's weird. My brain works like very weird. Like I know not everyone has that where they have to be like, oh, I'm scheduled this and this. Like obviously it's in my schedule, then that's my schedule, but I don't have like, I'm gonna time block 2 hours today to do this, or I'm gonna time block this. Like I'm more like, okay, I'm gonna go do this right now, and then while I'm doing this, and it's just,
so you like multitask.
Yeah. And I have like ADHD, and then I forget.
That's what I'm like, I know what I have to do during the day, and I definitely live and die by my calendar, but it's like if you're routine oriented, you already know what you have to do, and then you just execute it at the end of the day.
And like working out, I have to work out, like that's in my calendar, and I'm like, I have to go to Pilates.
Are you a morning worker outer?
Yes, I can't do the afternoons. I can't. I have to do the mornings, like first thing in the morning. Like 9 a.m. classes are too late for me.
And Pilates,
I go to 8 a.m. and my teachers will say I'm gone by, they're 8 to 8:50, but by like 8:35 I'm out because my phone's already blowing up. Even if I have it on do not.
I wish I could do that. I feel like I have to finish things all the way till the end, but I know what you're talking about. I have to put it on do not disturb, and if I look, I'm like, my cortisol like spikes. Yeah. I'm like, oh my God, I've got to get out of here.
That's what happened to me this morning. I had to leave by 8:36. I was like, I'm sorry, I have to go. One of my sellers is driving me nuts.
I mean, you got to just get in when you can, which is like already respectable. So just Pilates. Do you weightlifting or anything?
No, just Pilates. But like the Pilates I do, it's like more like new age Pilates, like the teachers are great. Like they incorporate like weights and bands and stuff like that. So it's not just like reformer, even though it is reformer, but they definitely like incorporate.
It's like resistance training and that kind of thing.
And I do it to be lean. Like I don't want to get like buff. Like I just like to be lean.
Yeah. So what is next for you? What's coming up for you on like the career front, home, family, everything?
Well, we spoke about this. There is a show, and today was like the big day, and it seems like third quarter is when this network is making it happen. So I'm just going to wait till July 1st, and it's a big network, which I'm really excited about. I wish things would have moved a little bit quicker, but, in due time.
So back on the reality TV show circuit.
It's about me again.
Is it, are you going to be like part of one show, or is it going to be your show?
No, I'm the main focus.
Yeah.
I showed it to you?
No.
Do you want to see it after?
I do.
Okay, I'll show you. It's cool. And then baby whites. I would like to have another baby. I probably would have been pregnant by now. We kind of wanted to start in January, but we were holding off because of the show. Because I don't want to be pregnant on the show. Like I want to be like full bitch mode.
Right. Which is probably harder when you've got like a belly with a child in it.
It's gonna take me serious with my fucking fat ass. Like, so that, and then work. I'm just like hustling, The A's are coming. I'm hoping to get in front of that, and
that's right. That'll round us out for sports teams, right? Except for the NBA.
Yeah,
right.
That's coming too.
Yeah. I mean, the growth of Vegas is just so wild.
That's why buy now, and you will see that your investment will grow.
Yep. Okay. Where can everybody find you?
Cami Li online, anywhere. You can just Google Cami Likowski. There's a billboard going up soon, so you can see that.
Perfect.
Yeah. But just Cami Likowski, and whatever comes up, I'm sure. Just don't read the bad stuff.
Okay. Yeah, totally. Well, thank you so much for joining us. That was a good conversation. We're going to have to bleep out a lot.
Sorry, guys.